as Hamilton crossed the line at last weekend's Barcelona Grand Prix. Even the most cynical of Formula One fans must have cracked a smile at the outpouring of emotion from the seven-time world champion.
As Hamilton crossed the finish line at the Barcelona Grand Prix, it was hard not to feel the emotion pouring out of the seven-time world champion. After 30 frustrating attempts, he finally grabbed his first victory in Ferrari colors. Most Formula One drivers never get the chance to stand on the top step even once, but for someone with Hamilton's incredible record, going 40 races without a win since the 2024 Belgian Grand Prix felt like a shocking dry spell. But Hamilton's victory wasn't the only massive story from the weekend. Antonelli's retirement completely changed the picture and made the result even more dramatic. With the current championship leader failing to score a finish, Hamilton suddenly closed the gap to just 41 points in the standings. That has a lot of people asking an interesting question. Is it too soon to talk about him as a real championship contender? Some fans might say one strong race isn't enough proof that Ferrari are ready to fight for the title, but there are plenty of signs that suggest this result could be much bigger than a one-off success. Ferrari looked sharp, confident, and ready for the challenge. Hamilton's historic first Ferrari win sent a powerful message. It wasn't just a statement to the rest of Formula One, it was a statement to himself. After facing questions and even admitting to moments of doubt about whether he could still perform at the very highest level, he delivered the perfect answer on the track. Hamilton's victory did more than add another trophy to his collection. It completely backed up his bold decision to leave Mercedes and join Ferrari. For months, people questioned whether the move was the right one. Now, those doubts are looking a lot quieter. The win also marked Ferrari's first Grand Prix victory since Mexico in October 2024, ending a long and frustrating wait for one of Formula One's most famous teams. A virtual safety car played a key role in the race and gave Hamilton the chance to make a perfectly timed pit stop, helping him emerge ahead of Mercedes drivers George Russell and Kimi Antonelli. On paper, it looked like a huge break in Ferrari's favor. But here's the part that really turned heads. Mercedes themselves admitted after the race that Hamilton probably would have won anyway. The virtual safety car may have made things easier, but it wasn't the reason for his speed. Even if he had rejoined behind the Mercedes cars, his pace on the fresher tires was so strong that many believed he would have found a way past them on track. By the checkered flag, he was a massive 20 seconds ahead of Russell, a gap far greater than any advantage created by the virtual safety car. The numbers make the performance look even more impressive. Out of the 10 fastest laps recorded during the Grand Prix, Hamilton set 7 of them. Every one of those laps came on the hard tire during his final stint. The remaining fastest laps belonged to Norris on hards, Verstappen on mediums, and Hadjar on softs, showing just how remarkable Hamilton's pace really was. That final stint felt like a throwback to Hamilton at his peak. The speed, the control, and the confidence were all there. The only thing missing was James Bonington on the radio calling for hammer time. For the first time in years, Hamilton looked completely comfortable in a car that matched his driving style, and that's a development that should definitely get Mercedes' attention. Few people understand Hamilton's abilities better than Toto Wolff, and what he saw in Barcelona was a reminder of exactly what Hamilton can still do. After all, it was Hamilton who helped turn Toto Wolff's Mercedes team into a dominant force in Formula One. It was Hamilton who delivered championship after championship, shattered records, and became the centerpiece of Mercedes' incredible run at the top. Wolff rewarded that success with major contracts and full confidence in his star driver. Together, they built one of the most successful partnerships the sport has ever seen. When a driver owns the record for the most Grand Prix victories and shares the record for the most world championships, people should never be too quick to count him out. Hamilton knows exactly what it takes to win, and that's a huge reason why he deserves serious attention in the championship conversation. That said, Andrea Kimi Antonelli has been nothing short of sensational. Few people would argue against his talent. With 5 victories from the opening 6 races, along with a second-place finish, he has established himself as one of the standout performers on the grid. He's also gained the upper hand over his more experienced teammate George Russell, putting himself firmly at the center of the title picture. Barcelona offered another example of Antonelli's speed. Even though Russell beat him in qualifying by 0.3 of a second, Antonelli stepped up when it mattered most on race day.
So if there is a title battle to be had for Hamilton, it's going to be with Andrea Kimi Antonelli, a driver only in his second season of Formula 1 and who won't turn 20 until the majority of the season has already gone.
He hunted down his teammate, made the move, and then steadily pulled away. It was another eye-catching display from a driver who continues to impress every weekend. I'll get to his retirement later, but looking strictly at race pace, Antonelli has been operating at an extremely high level, and if Hamilton is going to have a real championship fight on his hands, Antonelli looks like the driver most likely to stand in his way. That's remarkable when you consider he's only in his second Formula 1 season and still incredibly early in his career. There's no doubt many people see Antonelli as a future superstar. Some even believe he could become one of the defining drivers of his generation. But becoming one of the greats and proving it over an entire championship campaign are two different challenges. Talent can get a driver into the fight, but handling the pressure week after week is another story altogether. Just look at Oscar Piastri. He also burst into a season with incredible momentum and immediately started outperforming his teammate. Early success grabbed headlines, but maintaining that level across a full championship battle is where the real test begins. At one stage, it looked like the championship was already slipping out of everyone else's reach. The lead seemed untouchable, and the momentum was firmly on one driver's side. But then, everything changed. A car upgrade arrived, and instead of making things better, it shifted the balance in a way that no longer suited the driver's style. What had looked like a dream season suddenly started heading in the wrong direction. That's one of the biggest challenges for less experienced drivers. When a car changes and stops feeling natural, adapting quickly isn't always easy. A few difficult races can chip away at confidence, and once that happens, performances can start to slide. In Formula 1, momentum is powerful, and losing it can create problems that grow bigger with every weekend. Hamilton, however, has been through situations like this many times before. He's faced difficult weekends, tricky cars, and championship pressure throughout his career. More importantly, he knows how to keep collecting points even when everything isn't going perfectly. Years of experience have taught him how to make crucial setup adjustments, manage setbacks, and avoid letting a rough weekend turn into a crisis. And if the last 3 race weekends are anything to go by, the momentum is starting to swing in Hamilton's favor. When he builds confidence and gets into a rhythm, he becomes incredibly difficult to stop. That's exactly why rivals across the grid will be paying close attention to Ferrari's recent rise. There's another factor worth watching as well, the reliability situation involving Mercedes-powered cars. At first, that might sound unrelated to Hamilton's title hopes, but it could end up playing a major role in the championship battle. Mechanical failures have become an increasingly noticeable issue this season. Several Mercedes-powered cars have suffered reliability problems, creating growing concern inside the team. Barcelona delivered another painful example when Antonelli's race came to an unexpected end after an apparent engine issue. The retirement cost him a potential second-place finish and a valuable haul of championship points, adding even more drama to an already intense title fight. Antonelli wasn't the first Mercedes driver to be hit by reliability trouble this season. Just 2 races earlier, George Russell suffered a similar setback. His race ended far earlier than expected, costing him what looked set to be at least a second-place finish and a valuable 18 championship points. In a title fight where every point matters, losses like that can quickly become a huge problem. And the issues haven't been limited to Mercedes alone. Other teams using Mercedes power units have also run into trouble. In China, McLaren endured a nightmare weekend when both of their cars failed to start the race because of separate power unit problems. That result raised plenty of questions and added to growing concerns about reliability. Monaco brought even more headaches. Norris dealt with multiple power unit issues throughout the weekend before eventually being forced out of the race. Incidents like these have created a pattern that's becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. Reliability has emerged as one of the biggest talking points surrounding Mercedes-powered teams this season. The situation becomes even more concerning when looking at component usage. Among the Mercedes-powered entries, only Piastri and Gasly have managed to avoid replacing key parts related to the energy store and control electronics so far. Meanwhile, Albon is already running close to the limit on available components. highlighting just how much pressure some teams are facing. Mercedes is fully aware of the situation and appears to be treating it as a top priority. Following Antonelli's retirement, Toto Wolff made it clear that repeated mechanical failures are unacceptable. As he explained, "We can't DNF cars in a kind of regular or continued way, losing 25 points in a Constructors' Championship in Montreal and losing another 18 points today." Wolff continued by stressing the importance of reliability, saying, "In order to finish first you have to finish, and reliability, this is what we need to get on top of. That's number one, so nobody's happy about that, and we will leave no stone unturned to understand." He also emphasized how close the championship battle remains, adding, "You see, at the end of the road, you have 25 points and it's wide open. That's why we can't afford to not finish, and we need to just keep putting performance on the car and on the power unit, not make mistakes, be clever with the strategy, and stay absolutely on it." These comments show just how seriously Mercedes is taking a problem that could have major consequences as the season continues. The biggest concern for Mercedes appears to be on the electronic side of the power unit, where reliability issues continue to surface. Right now, there doesn't seem to be an easy solution, and that's creating a growing headache for the team.
Is it premature to say that he's in the championship battle though? Is one race enough to prove that Ferrari have what it takes?
If these problems continue, Antonelli's retirement in Barcelona may not be the last time a Mercedes-powered car is forced out of a race this season. There's another problem waiting around the corner as well. As teams burn through more power unit components, they move closer to grid penalties for exceeding their allocated parts. That can turn a strong weekend into a difficult recovery drive in an instant, and every extra penalty increases the risk of dropping valuable championship points. Meanwhile, Ferrari finds itself in a very different position. Reliability has been one of the team's biggest strengths so far. Aside from Valtteri Bottas suffering a retirement linked to a power unit issue, Ferrari-powered teams have largely avoided the kind of recurring problems affecting their rivals. While some performance data has suggested the Ferrari power unit may not quite match Mercedes in outright power, reliability can often be just as important as raw speed over the course of a championship campaign. After all, the fastest car means very little if it can't consistently reach the finish line. That's where Ferrari's steady approach could become a major advantage as the season progresses. For Hamilton, this means the path to a championship challenge doesn't necessarily require a string of victories every weekend. Instead, the focus is on consistently scoring strong results, staying near the front, collecting podiums, and taking advantage of opportunities whenever they appear. If rivals lose points through mechanical failures or penalties, Hamilton has the experience to capitalize immediately. That's where years of championship battles become incredibly valuable. Hamilton understands that titles aren't won solely through spectacular victories. They're often won by limiting damage on difficult weekends and maximizing points when opportunities arise. He knows when to attack and when to secure a result without taking unnecessary risks. If Mercedes continues struggling with reliability, Hamilton and Ferrari could be perfectly positioned to take advantage. And with his experience, patience, and ability to deliver under pressure, he has all the tools needed to turn those opportunities into a serious championship push. For now, Antonelli appears to be handling the disappointment well. Speaking after the race, he said, "I feel a bit empty, to be fair, right now, but it is what it is. Races are like this, and it comes and goes. For sure, the pace was good today. I struggled a little bit in stint 1, but stint 2 and 3, I felt like I had quite a lot of pace." He continued, "And of course, it's a shame because it was like 3 laps from the end, almost there. But as I said, races are like this. It's no one's fault, and now we look forward to the next one." On the surface, those comments showed a calm and professional approach despite a frustrating result. Of course, what drivers say publicly and what they're feeling privately can sometimes be very different. Missing out on a huge points finish with only a few laps remaining is the kind of setback that can stick with a driver, especially during a championship battle where every result carries extra weight. Even the strongest competitors feel that kind of disappointment. That's why the Austrian Grand Prix could be so important. One difficult race can be brushed aside, but if the next weekend also brings problems, the pressure starts to build. Championship fights are often decided not just by speed, but by how drivers respond when things stop going their way. The coming races could reveal a lot about Antonelli's ability to maintain his momentum under intense scrutiny. Barcelona is also a circuit that carries special significance within Formula One. For years, the Circuit de Barcelona-Catalunya has been one of the sport's most important testing venues. Dedicated fans have spent countless preseason days watching teams complete lap after lap there, gathering crucial data before the season begins. Even though modern regulations limit private testing opportunities, Barcelona remains one of the most respected and demanding tracks on the calendar. Teams still view it as a place where a car's true strengths and weaknesses are often exposed, making strong performances there particularly meaningful. There's a very good reason why Barcelona is considered such an important benchmark in Formula One. The circuit features a demanding mix of high-speed corners, medium-speed sections, slower technical turns, and a long main straight. Because of that combination, it tests nearly every aspect of a car's performance. That's why teams pay so much attention to results there. For years, one of the most common beliefs in the paddock has been simple. If a car is fast in Barcelona, there's a strong chance it will be competitive at many other circuits as well. It's not a perfect rule, of course. Unique venues like Monaco can produce very different results because they place completely different demands on the cars. Still, Barcelona remains one of the strongest indicators of overall performance across a season. And that's exactly why Hamilton's performance attracted so much attention. He wasn't just quick, he looked comfortably ahead of the competition for much of the weekend. The pace Ferrari showed raised eyebrows throughout the paddock and immediately sparked fresh discussion about the team's championship potential. A major reason behind that performance appears to be Ferrari's latest upgrade package. While other top teams have been aggressively developing their cars over recent races, Ferrari took a different route. The team focused on maximizing its existing setup through Monaco and Montreal before finally introducing a substantial collection of upgrades in Barcelona. The update package wasn't limited to one area either. Ferrari made changes to 8 different components of the car, showing just how serious this development step was. According to FIA documentation, the front wing received significant revisions, including a redesigned footplate, updated vane arrangements, an added end plate dive plane, and optimized loading distribution across the wing elements. These changes were aimed at improving airflow management and overall aerodynamic efficiency. Additional modifications were also made around the nose section. Ferrari introduced new straight mode mechanism links, revised the integration of several components, and reshaped the nose itself with a raised lower surface. While some of these adjustments may sound highly technical, together they represent a major effort to unlock more performance, and based on what happened in Barcelona, the early signs look extremely promising for Ferrari's future race pace. Ferrari didn't stop with changes to the front wing and nose. The team also introduced major updates to the floor body, floor fences, floor edge, and diffuser area. Engineers reworked the diffuser sidewall cutout, adjusted the diffuser winglet angle, and refined the diffuser's expansion profile. All of these changes were designed with one goal in mind: generating more aerodynamic load and unlocking extra performance across a wide range of conditions. The side pods were also revised, featuring a more pronounced shoulder design along with an updated Coke bottle shape at the rear of the car. These changes were specifically developed to work alongside the new front end and floor upgrades, helping improve airflow from the front of the car all the way to the back. In simple terms, Ferrari has carried out a major aerodynamic overhaul from nose to diffuser, and the results immediately grabbed attention in Barcelona. Hamilton seems convinced the team has finally found the right direction. He said Ferrari now knows where its North Star is, suggesting the team has identified a development path that is delivering real gains instead of small improvements. According to Hamilton, the progress is no accident. As he put it, this is really down to everyone back at the factory. If Ferrari has truly unlocked that development direction, the rest of the grid could have a serious challenge on its hands as this championship battle heats up. What do you think? Is Hamilton now a genuine title contender, or is it still too early to make that call? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with other F1 fans. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.